But we're going to be proposing, and we're going to work with the legislature to establish an artificial intelligence Bill of Rights for individual Floridians in our state. This will be very far-reaching with consumer protections. It will do things like fortify some of the protections we have in place for things like deep fakes and use of explicit material, particularly those that depict minors. We are also going to make sure that your data is protected. We're not going to allow any state or local government agency to utilize Chinese-created AI tools when they're doing data here in the state of Florida. I know that there's some senators who are working on that. We're going to protect consumers and individuals from having your name, image, and likeness weaponized in a way that can do you harm. And we have a legal framework in place already with some of our statutes about fraud and different things with parts of political ads. But they can take you now, and they can put words in your mouth in ways that may be detrimental to you. I mean, certainly you're going to see it in politics a lot because they're going to put commercials with people saying things that they never actually said. And the one thing you learn about in politics is when you see these ads, if someone runs an ad and says, John Smith is a dirtbag and this and this and that, I'm not saying it doesn't have an effect, but I think voters just look at that like typical. But if you have an ad in this guy's own words where he's proving to you that he's a dirt, then that really does matter, right? Because people see that and like, oh, I don't like that guy, right? Why did he say that? Why does he believe that? So there's definitely going to be an incentive to want to do that. But even in business and other things, there's going to be huge possibilities of abuse. We had fun with it. I don't know how to do it, but we had got it done. So my son is in fun with them, and I don't even know how it happened because I don't know how to work it. But you can do a picture of somebody and then tell like the AI to make like so they have a picture of Mason in a Florida State jersey, kind of like that. And then they do it, and it creates this video where he's like that. He rips off the Florida State jersey. You see a University of Florida jersey, and then my son is doing the Gator chomp, saying it's great to be a Florida Gator. He was very upset when he saw that. He probably would sue if that ever got public. And he was just like, and he does not like artificial intelligence as a result of that. But I mean, like, and it's kind of, that's slop, right? It's having fun or whatever. But like, honestly, it looked, that's slop, right? It's having fun or whatever. But like, honestly, it looked real. It looked real. So everyone, I think, is going to be in a situation where people are going to be able to manipulate this stuff. And I know that there's some senators that are working on that as well. We also want to protect families. We want to protect parents. We want to protect minors. We will provide more parental rights in this bill. We're going to ensure parents can access conversations their child has with one of these LLM chatbots. Parent will be able to set parameters for when the child can access any of these platforms, and there'll be notifications for parents required if the child exhibits concerning behavior. There's sometimes, so like we've got kindergarten, second, third grade, and sometimes, we did a social media bill for minors and help parents with that. And basically we said if you're 14 or under, the company can't issue an account. If you're 15 or 16, the parent has to consent. Above that, it's hard for us to do at that point. And some people are like, well, the parent should just do. If a 10-year-old is doing it, it's the parent's fault. But I'll tell you, it's hard to police as a parent. I mean, they're in school, they do different things. Other kids may do it. You really do need to have kind of an environment and a structure so that the parent control is really protected and elevated. To just say really important to be able to do that. We also want to make sure that data inputted into AI is secure and private. We will not allow companies to sell or share personal identifying information with third parties and we're going to mirror our data privacy protections that are in current law. I mean, ultimately, you type in, you ask a question, is that private, or are they selling that, to other people? And I think they have all this, and they mine the data and they make money off of it. We will also protect consumers from unfair claims practices. We'll make sure that, for example, if you file an insurance claim, that you can't just be denied by AI, that you got to have human review, and a human being has to stand by a decision whether to grant or deny a claim. We're also looking at, and then also things like legal briefs. I think you should have to certify that AI was used in the creation of a legal brief. Certainly, if an AI wrote the bones of it, I think you got to disclose that. It's just think, you hire a lawyer, you have a claim, they file a brief, and they have fake cases because they were doing AI. That's malpractice. I'm sorry, you should lose your license. So there's going to be a lot of professional things that I think needs to be expectations where people are doing that. Now, data centers. How many people even know about these data centers? I mean, 6 months ago, no one really talked about it. Now it's become something of a flashpoint, because basically to run artificial intelligence, they have to run it through these massive computer systems, and there's servers. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I personally don't have the technological expertise. I just know it takes a lot of power. And so when you're doing a chat bot, when you're doing some of these things, it needs way more power than, say, a simple Google search would need to do. And so there's an effort underway by the industry to build these massive hyperscale data centers. And so the one, I know Meta's going to build one in Louisiana that's going to be about the size of Manhattan. So this is real significant. Hyperscale data center typically consumes as much power as a city of 500,000 people, sometimes even more than that. It gets very hot, so they need a lot of water to be able to cool it. So there's all kinds of issues with respect to resources. There's also the issue of, okay, you're in a community, you pay your electric bill, you have a data center come in, and then they need all that power. What's going to happen to your electric bill? A lot of people have seen their bills go up because, we have a limited grid. You do not have enough grid capacity in the United States to do what they're trying to do. That's just the fact. And people say, oh, we'll just build more nuclear. Well, how long does it take to do that? Like, I'm all for it. We did an energy bill in Florida a couple years ago. You can do the small modular reactors in Florida. It just isn't economical. That's why people aren't doing it. So the idea that, oh, yeah, you could just do it. No, there's a finite amount of grid. You can try to expand it, but that's more of a private sector issue. But you're not going to be able to get what's needed for this the way it's going. That's just a fact. You also have environmental concerns, taking farmland, taking